Hello everyone, my name is Seth, and apparently the Warner Brothers sales saga is not over yet. Back a little bit ago, I made a video talking about how Netflix and Warner Brothers had entered a agreement to sell Warner Brothers to Netflix. I talked about what that could mean for streaming, what that could mean for the WB theatrical output. But during all that time, Paramount was really wanting to buy Warner Brothers. They were thinking about doing a hostile takeover. But now Netflix has backed out as Paramount gave their best and final offer. Warner Brothers decided to go with Paramount's offer. So I'm going to give you some of the details behind it and some of my thoughts. But before we go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. So basically the two competitors for Warner Brothers has been Netflix and Paramount. And I think honestly, the best thing would be for Warner Brothers to stay independent, to not be bought by anybody, but that's not going to happen at this point. Warner Brothers and Netflix agreed to a deal that was valued at about $83 billion, excluding the debt that Warner Brothers has. But because of how aggressive Paramount has been in wanting to buy Warner Brothers, this kind of led to more of a prolonged, negotiating period, a prolonged bidding war. So it seems like Warner Brothers basically came to Paramount and said, okay, listen, we have not been impressed by your offers. Give us your best and final offer, or we're going to continue forward with the Netflix deal. And so toward the end of February, they did just that. They adjusted their offer. They did a fully cash offer. It's a bid of $31 per share, which is including all of the Warner Brothers cable businesses. And that values that deal at about 110 to about 111 billion dollars. And that's including the debt that Warner Brothers has. And it also includes a $7 billion breakup fee. And so Warner Brothers was considering that offer. They got the board together. They were talking about it, and they gave Netflix a chance to match or exceed that offer. And Netflix decided to exit the bidding process. The Netflix co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters released a statement. They said, "We've always been disciplined at the price required to match Paramount Skydance's latest offer. The deal is no longer financially attractive." And so Netflix is going to receive $2.8 billion from Paramount as a termination fee. And so Warner Brothers and Paramount have officially agreed to this deal. And like what I said back when Warner Brothers and Netflix originally agreed to the deal, this will take quite a while for you to see some of the effects. This won't officially go through all of the government regulations for a while, but this could lead to some significant changes. Basically, when Netflix was going to be buying Warner Brothers, they were going to kind of have Warner Brothers exist as it already was. They would just kind of do their own thing. It just Netflix would kind of be in charge. At least that's the idea that Netflix said to the public. That's not exactly how this seems to be going with Paramount. So because of that, there could be some major changes, and there could be a lot of jobs lost because of this. The Paramount CEO, David Ellison, has already said that the plan is to merge Paramount Plus and HBO Max into one service so they can better compete with Netflix in the streaming sector. And their goal is to have 200 million subscribers. Because Warner Brothers and Paramount have some of the kind of same teams, there's a lot of staff members at both companies that are kind of concerned about some massive layoffs. Ellison has already talked about kind of working with about $6 billion to eliminate some of the redundancies once these two companies are combined. Now, the reason that wouldn't happen with Netflix is because Netflix doesn't do what Warner Brothers does at all. Meanwhile, Paramount and Warner Brothers both kind of have the same operation philosophies. David Ellison has already described this deal as kind of reinventing the business. Like I said, he wants to kind of create this one empire to compete against Netflix. One good thing about this is a lot of times Ellison is referred to as a really big film fan. There's people that call him a cinephile. He loves theaters. He has a passion for storytelling, which that is great. That's what you want from a leader who's dealing with media, both TV and theatrical. You want to focus on putting the best stories out there, because when you have great stories, great film, great TV, that gets eyes on it. That gets people in the theater. So where I had my concerns about Netflix, maybe going back on what they were saying about keeping the movies in theaters and kind of letting Warner Brothers do their own thing, I don't have that concern here, because it appears that David Ellison really loves storytelling, really loves movies and theater, and that is a great thing. The issue here is a lot of people have said that David Ellison does kind of rely on his family's wealth and aggressive deal making, kind of overly aggressive. And that's kind of what I was thinking during this whole bidding war saga. Is I feel like he kind of made Paramount look bad during this whole thing with how aggressive they were trying to be. So combined between Paramount and Warner Bros., the goal is for them to have 30 plus films in theaters annually. Paramount and Warner Bros. Are expected to operate kind of as their own entities, just kind of under one umbrella. And with them combining Paramount and HBO Max, this could really compete against Netflix and Disney Plus, because you have stuff like DC and Harry Potter, all of that combining with all of the franchises that Paramount already has. So a lot of the layoffs and changes that could, eliminate some duplicate teams between the two companies as they merge, that could definitely change some of the really good leadership that Warner Brothers has right now. So that is definitely a concern. So it could be Warner Brothers in name only and not have the talent behind it. And like what I questioned with the Netflix and Warner Brothers deal, with them combining the streaming services, you have to wonder what's going to happen to the HBO name. Like I mentioned last time, HBO has such brand recognition. You think of HBO, you think of prestige television, and it would be an incredible mistake just to let that go away. So kind of overall, I think that this could potentially help theaters. This could kind of help raise the competition between the studios to help get better and better films and TV. But also this could create a mess when you're talking about consolidating a whole bunch of stuff, especially consolidating a lot of the streaming services. And this could drastically change up leadership at both companies, and it's likely going to result in a lot of jobs lost. So this is a really, really massive deal in the whole entertainment industry. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out. These are just some thoughts I've had. This is some thoughts that I've seen other people have. So we'll see what happens. I will bring you more information whenever there is more to say. But right now, they've entered into this deal and there's a lot of question marks. There's David Ellison saying a lot of stuff. So I guess we'll see what happens. But that's it. That's my thoughts on the news. And that's just some of the information I have. Let me know what you think on this deal down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and have a conversation with you about it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.